Good morning. I am going to take the morning for some studying. And since I am still so new, I thought reading out loud would help and I would share my space in the making with everyone. I have already cleared this space and called on protection. And last night I opened up my first tarot set, which is the Trick or Treat Tarot, as well as the Black Moon Astrology cards. I have, until now, just been fiddling with the Oracle cards from the Witch's Familiar deck and the Ancestor Spirit cards. The Ancestor cards did tell me to pull out my tools, and I did have some runes on hand that I had never opened before, so I also drew one of them. We've got one blank. I chose the Black Moon spread, and this is designed to help better understand an issue or challenge that is currently being faced. Now, I did this pull on my own energy, my own focus, and I'm not going to share those personal details. However, should any of the cards resonate for you, your own intuition may be trying to speak. So embrace it, sit with it. You never know. Answers come in all sorts of ways. The first position is the root of the question or issue, and it may contain some past influences that have not phased out, and some residual energy may still be lingering. Follow the link below for the full. For those joining me for the card reads, thank you. I do appreciate the company. I also took a little break today and I went and got a tripod. So it's no longer morning, but I am determined to finish reading these cards today so that I can do a different pull tomorrow. Otherwise, how am I going to learn? How are you going to learn? Again, thank you. So Pluto is the card of transformation. People living deeply have no fear of death. Anais Nin. Pluto, the smallest and outermost planet in our solar system, probably carries the most weight. It is the planet of extremes. Birth, sex, and death are Pluto's themes. In Greek legend, Pluto was the god of the underworld. His earlier name, Hades, came to designate the dwelling place for the dead. The name Hades means the unseen, and it is a good description of the energies of Pluto, which tend to transform areas of the astrological chart without us knowing until the explosion or blowout. Pluto was discovered in 1930, and although it is now considered a dwarf planet, transits from Pluto are extremely powerful and bring on significant life changes. I'm going to need to sit with these cards, I think, after I have absorbed the readings of them tonight. In traditional astrology, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, but has some similarities to Saturn, which is also a force of oppression. Pluto governs renewal and rebirth. It brings to the surface things that have been hidden or are felt deeply inside. These are sometimes painful to confront, or they are embarrassing or taboo. This dwarf planet tends to inspire unwelcome surprises. Pluto can be like a tower collapsing in your life, a life from which you must rebuild from debris and also inspiration. I do hope that this is in reference to lingering, like on the way out energy and not upcoming energy. Again, I'm going to need to sit with these cards afterwards. Okay. Many things that you have relied upon for always being there may suddenly disappear or leave. More than anything else, Pluto represents endings and beginnings. It is not a card of physical death per se, since in our lifetimes we experience many deaths and new starts. This is simply a time when the decks are being wiped clean for new action. Most of the time you begin to feel ill at ease with the feeling of something not right, and things go down strangely with an eerie silence like the Titanic. If you are in a relationship that has been difficult, it will either end or it will deepen and become more fulfilling. Any romance that starts at this time should prove to be intense. It is very important not to try and control things. Instead, surrender to the ups and downs for a while, although some of these changes may be painful ones. That said, this is a time of intense sexuality. It may come in various forms: great sex, not enough sex, strange sex, and most likely, intense and consuming sex. Well now, in terms of job or career, it may be time to get another. When the Pluto card presents itself in a reading, you may have recently been infatuated with a hidden subject, certain mysteries, or the taboo. This could be a time when you are able to sense and feel spirits around you, and sometimes this card can indicate psychic attacks, and thus you should be very careful with who you open up to. Be cautious if you are involved in anything paranormal or occult in nature. You are not particularly vulnerable. In fact, your strength is growing. But it is important at this point in time to spiritually protect yourself from anything negative, such as vampire types of people or lost spirits looking for a home. You may become upset concerning something about your past that turns out to not be what you had always thought. On a more mundane level, you may have to be more careful with your finances, taxes, or inheritances. You might have the opportunity to suddenly move into a new home, but beware of foundation, water, or sewer problems, and also the possibility that the house might be haunted. And personally, I'll take the haunting. I've been through a flooding. I'll take the haunting. Think of Pluto as leftover things that tend to languish in a state of decay or decadence, but more positively, rejuvenation, healing, and birth. And by the way, that doesn't mean I want any hauntings. Don't send any my way, please. So the corresponding tarot card is the Six of Swords, and the key ideas are transformation, endings, beginnings, new ways, the end of the old, and intensity. Okay, let's move on to the next card. That was a bit to absorb there, huh? The card for the second house is Yod, the card of destiny. And the second position represent our current surrounding influences and shows pretty much what is already obvious to our eyes and sums up all of the energies currently in the present. Alrighty, let's see what Yod has to tell us today. A person often meets his destiny on the road that he took to avoid it. Jean de La Fontaine. The ancients believed that the Yod was an area of fate in the chart and not a particularly favorable one. You know, talking about needing to sit with these cards, I might not be able to sleep tonight. All right, Yod, let's see what destiny is going to be bringing us in the second house, our current energies, huh? It is also called the Eye of God or the Finger of God. The Yod is a peculiar astrological configuration in a chart. It is a triangle formed by the two planets 60 degrees apart, while both are 150 degrees from a third planet. This creates a thin, pie-shaped aspect. The Yod configuration is linked to the Hebrew alphabet, Yod, and it is the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which has mystical implications signifying the omnipresence of God and often denoting humility because the energy is locked in that triangular configuration, causing matters to be fated and often difficult, but not without their rewards. All right, well, I don't mind a challenge if there's a good reward. Let's see here. Yod configuration is influential and implies that there is a disruptive force at work. In a sense, this astrological placement of planets is somewhat in exile from the other planetary energies because they are not harmonious with each other and therefore cause tension. This can bring about feelings of intense stress and restriction. There can also be a sense of being different, feeling alone, feeling out of step with others at times. A yod in natal charts can even indicate being the black sheep of the family. When the yod card presents itself in a reading, it means that the situation may be chaotic, or it may soon turn that way. It will be hard to see any clear path because of this chaos, but it will be important to weather through it all. This is not always bad because it is a process of finding what works and what isn't functioning. And now will be the time to be scaling things down and weeding out what is unnecessary. But more than this card is about finding your own truth, even though that truth may not be reflected through others. You may wish for more support when this card comes up, but you will have to manage this all on your own. Another development may turn up, and that is you will still prefer to work it out on your own without any interference from others. This card can denote a time to voyage inward and come to your own truths. There really isn't anyone who will have the tools to figure this out more than you. So now may not be the best time to take advice from others. Your inner knowing has it already. You just have to take the time to process the information to come to your own answers. Again, I just might be up all night. At times when the Yod card turns up, there will be health issues that need to be dealt with and solved before moving forward. It can be indicative of an autoimmune disease, celiac disease, fibromyalgia, thyroiditis, or everyday allergies and other ailments. Although these diseases will not be life-threatening, they could still be a crucible of sorts with the need for drastic changes to be made for either relief or symptoms to subside. More positively, thank goodness. This card means that circumstances are good for achieving your goal, but be prepared for sacrifices on your part, and not just one, but several. It will not be an easy path, but it is a time to expand your focus. You have a desire for greater awareness, which will come through dedication, but patience and adaptability will be necessary in making this situation work to fulfill your greater purpose, the one you were born for. The Yod card in brief, needed to make adjustments, being inventive, unique, having a special purpose, trusting that all will work out as it is meant to be, the eventual success of destiny and fate, even amongst chaos, self-examination and discovery after a period of confusion, missed opportunities and increased awareness, humility, being shown factors that you are currently blind to, making up your mind, making a choice, learning from adjustments and flowing with the change, a conduit of energy. Wow, profound blocks, stop and start motions. It is best not to force any issues at this time, as there is fate involved. Allow matters to unfold before acting, bringing everything together, answering the call as the ordinary life is released into the spiritual. The corresponding tarot card would be the Ace of Swords reversed. And the key ideas are destiny, doing things on your own, standing strong, and making a difference. All right, Destiny, that was also quite a bit to digest. We're going to move on here. to the third house. Our third card, or third position here, represents what we are not able to see at the current time. And this will be because we either have blinders on, the information's being hidden or withheld, or we're just overlooking it. Either way, this is apparently the surprise part of the reading, which is interesting in itself because we also have the Black Moon Lilith card of mystery in that position. In revenge and in love, women is more barbaric than man is. Frederick Nietzsche. I know that's not pronounced right. My apologies. It is a time to be careful. Think of what might manifest over anger, bitterness, or revenge. What you have worked so hard for may collapse. Astrologically, Black Moon Lilith represents soul expansion and cosmological awareness, the force and aloneness in the path of the individual. Black Moon Lilith is a dark goddess. She is a ghost of the moon. As a shift in power and consciousness, she symbolizes destruction before creation. The name Lilith means screech owl or night hag. Lilith is the ancient goddess of mystery and transformation. Stories of Lilith appeared around 5,000 years ago in the area of Samaria, where she was said to have been handmaiden to Inanna, the Queen of Heaven. However, most of us recognize Lilith from the Hebrew myth as the first wife of Adam. Lilith also appears in folklore in medieval Judaism as the rebellious first wife who refused to submit to Adam and, enraged, fled to the Red Sea, an area of mystery and danger. There, Lilith procreated with other spirits, giving birth to demons. Later, she became a succubus, appearing to men at night, sapping their strength and causing wet dreams and impotency. I'm sure giving myself a challenge with this first pull, aren't I? Let's see what the positive aspects of this are going to be. Whew. All right, throughout the ages, Lilith was demonized. She was the first spiritual upstart, but in recent years, her status has changed. Lilith is a feminine force of command and strength. All right, let's go. Getting a little better. She represents the powers we hold in secret. When this card turns up during a reading, something lurks. Lilith appears as the dark part of the astrological chart. She is our shadow, the dark face of the moon, where mysteries and unexplained occurrences lie in wait. This card indicates a call to wildness, even subversion. Alrighty, Lilith is the evocation of what may or may not be there. She can manifest as madness or self-realization. Lilith represents a refusal to submit, so it is not a good time to give in, even when the path seems a rough one. There may be a tendency to isolate and focus on feelings of revenge. I don't personally like feeling revenge. It makes you feel yucky inside. All right. The hallmark of the Black Moon Lilith energy is muteness and aloneness. Lilith is a subdued power and complicated magnetism. Lilith remains awake while the rest of the world is asleep. She is the dark thoughts that enter our consciousness just before we fall asleep. The Black Moon Lilith suggests female rebellion. She can represent an angry mother, an enemy, or an embarrassed woman, or even a stalker or scorned woman. You have a feeling you are waiting for something to happen, but you don't have the entire information, so the facts are hidden or mysterious. Something stalks and you feel it, but Lilith is sharp. She knows, She senses. She processes what is there. Okay, I can embrace those. Because Lilith feels slighted, she can represent a formidable foe or dangerous enemy. I'm going to counter that one. Through Lilith, we discover our creativity, here it is, and the beauty that can exist in the darkness. And I do agree there is beauty in the darkness, as long as we keep our own demons in check and under our rule. Whew. I knew there had to be some kind of positive side to this. The Black Moon Lilith card in brief is arousal, the magical elixir of sex, tantric sex, glamour and seduction. The other woman or man, an affair, bitchiness, the feminine force, an invisible force, complicated circumstances, the colors red and purple, shame, envy, guilt, rejection, feelings of being replaced, feelings of being slighted or overlooked, owls and bats, haunted trees. I do love my trees and I'll take them haunted. The cold of night, demands of power, control, outsmarting the opposition, winning, what survives, what stays alive, creativity, the safety of the womb, unplanned births, controversial art and creative expression, pausing to rest before the next action, and the balancing out of karma. The corresponding tarot card is the Queen of Swords. The key ideas revolve around mystery, revolt, revenge, darkness, erotic obsessions, and the Witch's Wand of Power. Whew. Okay, so that's only 3 cards, and we do have 2 more. I've got a lot to digest here. And I'm a little curious if anyone has anything resonating with them. Now let's see, our fourth position coming up here. We are going to have, it's already looking better. Okay, this 4th position definitely gives me hope, because I've got a kitty cat coming up and he is already in her. You're gonna burn your nose. You're gonna burn your nose. Come on, down here. Thank you. All the way. He's already interrupted too many times, so I'm going to continue. This position is going to let us know what we need to do now, how we can address the issue, how to manifest or overcome it, and what our strengths are. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi. He is also one of my favorites. Healing must take place before you're able to deal with your matter. Chiron is not a planet, but a comet with a unique orbit that travels through the entire zodiac approximately every 51 years. Chiron is the Greek word for man-horse. Are you comfortable there? And in myth, Chiron the centaur, the wisest of all creatures, was the wounded healer and self-enlightened shaman. He was wounded in the flank and almost crippled, but he was rehabilitated from his wounds and sickness to pursue the healing arts through the guidance of Apollo, the god of light. For astrologers, Chiron has a special purpose as a bridge between the inner and outer planets, a bridge between the animal, my kitty here, and the human, the wisdom that lies in both life forms. In the chart, Chiron's place shows transitions linking the mundane to the extraordinary. This heavenly body takes us on a journey through our darkness, where we pass through to the next side with strengths that we did not realize we had until we passed through that very dark place. Chiron has a relationship to the two astrological signs of Virgo, health and physical well-being, and Sagittarius, consciousness and spiritual well-being. Chiron lords over matters of health, illness, and disease, and especially how they relate to our personal journey through life. One must see darkness before there is light. One must experience sickness before there is lasting health. Chiron also represents resurrection, so has some relationship to the Christ figure as the wounded healer. This is a card of great transformation. Therefore, in many ways, you are rising from the swamps. Because those first three had me going a little concerned. Hope the next one is also on the positive here. Chiron's energy says that once we are able to heal ourselves, we can also take this gift or wound and learn how to restore others. We can mend our wounds when we embrace, process, and understand the gift of illness or dysfunction. Chiron is also an expert in alchemy, which gives us the ability to transform the mundane into the marvelous. Chiron is a blending of the energies of Saturn and Uranus, meaning you just don't throw out the old. There is wisdom there, but you should also embrace the bold and the new. In keeping with this, Chiron also governs quantum physics, medicine, and astrology. When this card comes up in a reading, it can indicate health matters or issues of medical nature that may be of concern, and this matter may have to do with more especially any emotional healing that is needed. Might need to repeat that. When this card turns up in a reading, it can indicate health matters or that issues of a medical nature may be of concern. This matter may have to do with health concerns, most especially emotional healing that is needed. At this time, you may find yourself visiting or having interactions with health facilities or any place that has to do with the healing of body, mind, or spirit. Those that know me also know that I have been dealing with chronic pain and fibromyalgia over the years, so I will definitely sit with this card for a little extra long. Certain sorrows of the deep past may be surfacing, so be careful of repeating old patterns. These will tend to resurface unless faced directly, and if not faced, the pain will continue. This is an awakening time where you can resolve things. The symbol for Chiron is a key, and this card says you have the key to open the right doors at your asking. To do this, you will have to work with the wounded or the downtrodden in some way. So if this is true, it is now time to save yourself and others. A bridge between the tangible and the intangible. This is the Chiron card in brief. Shamanism, facing yourself. Journeys, the higher mind and religious ideas. Heeding the call. Deep listening, journeys through darkness and spiritual growth after abandonment. A difficult or painful passage. Deep inner healing and therapy. Seeking medical aid quickly or unexpectedly. Homeopathic medicine, chiropractors, issues related to the spine, bones, internal organs. A wounding of trust, accidents, falls. Feeling the pain of others, healing or teaching others via your own pain, empathy and kindness, responsibility, unnecessary worry, job changes in connection with self-healing, publishing in the areas of alternative health or traditional medicine and home remedies, and learning about health benefits through the natural world, writing, being out in nature, and the colors green and brown. The corresponding tarot card is the Hanged Man. Key ideas fall under the healing process, contemplation, medicine, illness, grief, and redemption. We have made it to the 5th position, and we have the air element, which is communicating. And this position is the likely outcome based upon current circumstances, and it is important to keep this in mind, so it is possible to change it should this not be the outcome you want. Well, anything with communicating in it is good for me. I appreciate communicating, so I imagine this is a card that I should resonate happily with. You never know. It was not in the reverse. None of these were in the reverse. All right. All action results from thought, so it is thoughts that matter. Sai Baba. Think it over first. Put some mental effort into it before you put your talk into action. Be logical and sort it out. The air element is about being objective and becoming mentally inspired. When we think of air, we think of clouds and sky and what connects us to the beyond. Air is all about lofty thinking, being broad-minded and expansive. Air sign people, Geminis, Librans, and Aquarians, sometimes come off with a little cool and detached. They weigh everything, mull the situation over, decide what they think, and then process what they feel. Air also reminds us of flight, and the flights of the mind are what the air element rules over. Those governed by air signs are mentally inclined and tend to distance the emotions. Air can represent overthinking and distancing the heart and emotions with abstractions and mental puzzles. But this works well when things do need to be sorted out and clarified. Air also represents clear seeing in all of its capacities, so can signify clairvoyant abilities, as well as seeing things for what they truly are, without the emotions involved. When the air element card presents itself in a reading, it is a time to put into words what you want, what you desire, what you expect. The good news is some issues you've been working on at the current time and potentially from the past are now being resolved. You are able to face them without pretense, but most importantly, with honesty. Air is all about being quick on your toes, how curious you are, and how ingenuous. Air also gives us the power to apply our energies in diverse ways. It's all about being spontaneous in the moment and landing on your feet, and where you are able to approach things with precision and sharpness. There is also freedom now to take a new path. Air signs look young, so this card is all about feeling young, looking at things anew, having energy, and being young. When your question is about relationships or romance, someone may not be willing to commit as much as the other at this time. It is possible that they are embarrassed or not as comfortable about sharing the emotions as the other. So the air element card can mean there is a type of impasse in relationships. It can become a type of weighing of all of the angles and odds and being unable to reach a decision, but this will only be a temporary matter. You can expect to travel in the near future when this card comes up, and it should be a major trip, not a trip that might be routine. It will take planning, and air travel may be involved. Learning about new things will also feature, either through cultural experience or visiting educational places. Mountainous regions may also play a part. Sometimes this card simply means ambition and the need to soar as high as you can which is now possible more than ever before. Ideally, this card indicates the power of manifestation, the magic of the mind, and thought bringing ideas into being. What you think might be can happen, so guard how you think and be especially careful as to the words you choose. To spell a word, that is to say a word, is to cast a spell. The ancients knew the words held magic within them, so do thoughts. If nothing else, the air element card indicates that your mind and words have power, and use them well. And there's a chance I might have, probably could have used reading this yesterday. So what would it be? Air element card in brief is travel, especially with the air, in airports and weather, being up in the clouds and using words, getting a piece of news and gossip, speaking, writing, publishing. Let's see, getting your point across, having a divided mind, balance, testing theories and partiality, science and music and wind instruments, the voice, the hands, the eyes, and the brain as the ability to think things through and analyze, and intelligence, finding solutions, overlooking prejudice, blowing hot and cold, towers and aloofness, having a cool exterior, suspension, clarity, and mental acuity, magic wands, feathers, birds, winged insects, smoke, smudging. The corresponding tarot card is the Ace of Swords. Whew. My goodness, I forgot there's still a rune stone. Are y'all still with me? Have you resonated? Are you processing any of this information? Any areas of your life that you can relate? I'm curious. Share below, please. And now this rune card, of course, I would like to learn the runes, and it is a blank one. So let me find what this is going to mean for us. And blank is year. Not sure I'm going to be pronouncing that right either. YR. Oh, well, this stands for the yew tree and eternity. New direction, radical change, complete success, maximum protection. This particular rune does not correspond to a period of the year or hour, but is rather a time out of time. Well, now that is the energy that crosses the entire reading. And I'm not actually sure where to begin. I think I'm going to have a seat and sit with them one by one, starting back with the Pluto of transformation. Maybe listen to myself. Thank you all for participating with me, and I hope you join me for another. Have a beautiful night.